Earthquakes are one of the most destructive and unpredictable forces on the planet. Without warning, solid ground cracks, shifts and buckles, threatening anything in its path. It's estimated that several million earthquakes shake the planet every year. Most are barely detectable tremors, but at least once a year, somewhere on the globe, a major event strikes. Most earthquakes are created by movements of titanic slabs of the Earth's crust, called tectonic plates. Enormous pressure builds as the plates strain against each other. When plates slide past each other, a strike-slip earthquake forms. When plates collide head-on and one slides under the other, a thrust earthquake occurs. In both cases, the Earth's crust tears and snaps, releasing a giant burst of seismic force. The amount of energy released by an earthquake is known as its magnitude. The higher the magnitude, the more energy released. An earthquake of magnitude 8 or higher releases as much energy as 1 billion tons of TNT, or 67,000 Hiroshima bombs. Earthquakes' destructive energy has cost almost 8 million lives in the last 1,000 years. The fatality rate is rising as populations in high-risk areas increase dramatically.
And it's kind of an inevitable shift as people cluster more and more. The largest cities continue to grow larger and larger.
Today, there are 17 cities jammed with more than 10 million people. 140 other metropolitan areas have populations topping 2 million. More than half of these are within striking distance of a major fault line, placing hundreds of millions directly in the line of fire.
A lot of times, we are our own worst enemies in terms of where we build and how we build these cities.
It's only a matter of time before another city is hit by a devastating earthquake. To prepare for the inevitable future, it's essential to learn from the past. October 17, 1989, San Francisco, California. For 15 horrific seconds, the city by the bay is rocked by a magnitude 6.9 earthquake. The epicenter is near a mountain in Santa Clara County called Loma Prieta.
Everybody's door and help them get out.
Suburbs close to the mountain suffer serious damage. The ground splits open in huge gashes, hundreds of homes are thrown off their foundations, and small communities are ripped apart.
62 people were dead.
But bizarrely, the greatest devastation and loss of life is 97 kilometers to the north in Oakland and San Francisco. The quake brings down a section of Oakland's Cypress Expressway, turning a busy freeway into a graveyard. Oakland firefighter Lorenzo Frediani is one of the first to respond.
It was a horrible scene. It was such a large-scale disaster. Seeing huge pieces of the freeway on top of cars, fires beginning to erupt, everyone just yelling and screaming for help.
Frediani and other rescuers race to find survivors. They fear the worst, that thousands are dead under the shattered remains of the expressway.
This was at 5 o'clock approximately. This is its peak time. There should be bumper-to-bumper traffic. So when I saw the Cypress unfold in front of me, all I could think about was how many thousands of people would be dead.
But amidst the horror, there is a life-saving stroke of luck. The earthquake hit as the two local baseball teams, the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland Athletics, faced off in the World Series. Millions are watching the game, and traffic is much lighter than usual.
The fact that we had the ball game between the two Bay Area teams easily saved thousands of lives.
As rescuers desperately try to free those trapped on the Cyprus Expressway, another disaster unfolds across the bay. Nearly 200 buildings in the Marina district are severely damaged or completely destroyed. Fires started by broken gas mains add to the damage and panic. Stunned residents flee into the streets. But even as the marina suffers catastrophic damage, neighborhoods surrounding it escape almost unscathed. Seismologists like Jack Boatwright struggle to understand the quake's selective destruction.
The ground motion and damage in the marina was a surprise not just to the lay people, it was also a surprise to seismologists.
The earthquake seemed to defy logic. It targeted two specific areas, 97 kilometers from the epicenter, leaving most of the Bay Area untouched. Boatwright and his colleagues set out to solve this mystery by going back to basics. When a fault ruptures, spherical waves of energy are released, traveling through the ground until they reach the surface. Like any other kind of wave, they can bend, reflect, or join together to make bigger waves. Oakland and the Marina District were unlucky enough to be hit by a seismic double team, two sets of waves that joined together. One set traveled directly from the earthquake center to the surface. Another traveled deep into the earth, then bounced off the boundary between the solid crust and the molten layer beneath it. The reflected waves reached the surface 97 kilometers away from their source, directly under Oakland and the Marina District. This seismic double whammy was bad enough, but it became much worse when combined with a fatal mistake made by the city's forefathers. 100 years ago, this land didn't exist. As the Bay Area rapidly expanded, stretches of ocean became beachfront property. The shallow edges of the bay were filled in with sand and debris.
The difficulty is these very fine and clean sands. When an earthquake occurs and you start shaking them, there's really nothing binding the sand together. It becomes actually a liquid.
Liquefaction is a deadly side effect of many large earthquakes. As solid ground turns to liquid, roads are destroyed, buildings topple, and underground pipes rupture. Liquefaction severed a gas main in the marina, igniting an inferno. The total cost of the quake was huge. 63 people died, 4,000 were injured, and 20,000 structures were damaged or destroyed. For seismologists, the 6.9 Loma Prieta quake was a brutal wake-up call. They were surprised by the reflection of seismic waves that struck the Marina District and Oakland.
With each earthquake, you have things that you didn't predict before. Every earthquake is in fact a learning experience.